Hello, and thank you for joining the Canada Organic Trade Association today for the Organic Retailer webinar. So pleased to share some data around organic, talk about the why of organic, and to look into some of the recent campaigns and why we'd like to have you on board as a retailer. Now, we're speaking to retailers today, but there's many folks in the retail supply chain who touch organic. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So right before we get started, my name is Kim Delalo, and I am the Member Relations and Business Development Manager here at the Canada Organic Trade Association, coming to you from the Ottawa area, which is the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation, whose time is from immemorial here. So it's a good thing to remember the land that we're on because the food comes from the land. And here we go. Let's start talking about organic. I want to point out here that we have Choose Canada Organic is the logo up here, and the website and all of our socials, as well as we have the Canada Organic Trade Association down here. We are the trade association, the nonprofit member-based association, and we own and run the Choose Canada website, Choose Canada Organic website. So who are we? We are the Canada Organic Trade Association. Our purpose is to really promote and protect organic in Canada. We are a leading voice for the organic industry, the organic trade area. So 4 of our key areas are market access and development, industry intelligence, public advocacy, and regulatory affairs. So you'll see us here. This is a group of us who've gone up to Ottawa to advocate for organic, talk with members of parliament, talk with top-level bureaucrats and so forth, bringing the message of organic. So this gives you a kind of another look at who we are at COTA. That's how we short form ourselves. So really, market access and development is all around getting working on trade relations, making sure that we understand how trade works. And of course, with the new interprovincial trade changing, it's very good that we're working in this space. It very much integrates with our work on regulatory affairs, everything to do about cross borders, whether they're provinces, territories, or whether it's international. We also have a whole funding scheme for our members. We do the data for the sector. This is very important for all players in the sector, not just the members of the trade association. So we solicit, we pay for, and we sell data. We bring in the analytics, we give you the insights. So industry intelligence is a big part of what we do, and that's part of what we're sharing with you folks today. We also have public advocacy. That's what I mentioned, talking with the members of parliament, senators, and also bureaucrats. We also talk with consumers, and that's the part of our presentation today is around Organic Month, which is a big consumer campaign to create awareness, to grow sales, and really build trust in organic. And as I mentioned, regulatory affairs is really a very essential and important part of what we do. And it's really what, in some ways, that behind the scenes kind of invisible work that just allows all the businesses who work in organic to thrive. And we're always around for you to know more about that if you wish. Just to give you some background on us. But really, let's just dive into what's going on in the Canadian organic marketplace. The Canadian organic marketplace, we are the 5th largest market globally. You'll see here in this pie chart that the USA is, 43% of the global market. We're 4% of the global market. So we are the highest per capita, the 9th highest per capita consumption in the world. So we are on the playing field. And certainly within Canada, we know that we have about 4%, just a little under 4% of the market share if we're just looking only in the Canadian marketplace. The whole sector is valued at approximately $9.01 billion Canadian. You notice that date for that data is 2023. hence the drive for more data, more current, accurate data. We're pushing for that very hard right now with our governmental partners and so on and so forth. 80% of that total market approximately is the food and beverage area. So that is, of course, of great concern and interest to retailers or grocers across Canada. And you can see on this side that 3.4% of the total market share is identified as organic. The data that we have has a fair, good, responsible amount of visibility on the market, but there's a whole bunch of the marketplace that's still somewhat shaded to us. So we need to get to that data and really understand that. But you can rely on this data as good insights, but knowing that there's better and more data to come. The market share, fruits and vegetables by far are the #1 category for organic. And in terms of what organic plays a part of, about 5.7% of the vegetables market is organic. And once again, these are data from a couple of years ago, and we believe that they're still valid. I think we've come out of the bump that was affected by the pandemic. Things seem to be regulating. Of course, now we have the tariffs challenge, and interprovincial trade is a real opportunity, and it will affect how things are actually sold and traded in Canada. So there will be some adjustments as things go along. Packaged food, that's what you could imagine in your sort of middle aisles in the grocery store, and they organic accounts for about 3.4% of packaged food, and meat, about 0.5%. When we're thinking about what we do in retail, we're really meeting the needs of our shoppers, and we're meeting the needs of the consumer. Some shoppers, as you guys know, are more vocal. They tell you what they want, and sometimes they just show you what they want by selecting what's on the shelf. So behavioral focused research versus transactional focused research. These are things that we balance here at CODA and try to bring you guys a good picture. So with our advocacy for more data, we actually had Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada come out with a survey fairly recently. And you'll notice here, this is 2023 data, that 55% of Canadians report seeking organically produced foods, always or sometimes. And if you take sort of a larger kind of look at that, always, often, or sometimes, 87% of Canadians are looking for organic. That's a very high percentage. So they may only be having one thing in their cart. Perhaps it's those famous organic fruits and vegetables. It could be organic dairy. It could be something else. But they're looking for organic. They have a sense of it. They have a sense of the value. And 60% are saying they're willing to pay more for those organic products. So that's very interesting. 39% of the national average said they would be buying organic always if they could afford it. So we've known for years, decades really, that price is the biggest barrier. Supply kind of plays into that price issue. So do have some thinking about that as you think about, as a retailer, what is of value to your customers. So let's just kind of dive into like the particulars. Some of what we've been hearing lately, and we would like to be able to verify this, but sometimes the word organic, that gets a lot more resonance when the actual attributes of organic are discussed. It protects biodiversity. It bans the use of genetically modified or genetic engineering. It has lesser of residues on it, and so on and so forth. And the content, the nutrient value can be higher. Scientific studies show this. So this is the perception research. 40 of the respondents, 46% say that organic food is healthier. This is a generalizable study across, so you can take these and use this as a general principles. 50% of them say that they were moderately concerned about pesticides, or herbicides, or fungicides. 49% say that they are moderately or very concerned about the use of antibiotics in farming. And 47% say they are very or moderately concerned about the treatment of animals on farms. So this is, getting up to a near majority on many things. 55% say they're moderately concerned about hormones used in farming, and 47% say that certified organic grown produce products are better for the environment. When we're talking about understanding what organic means, nearly 60% say no, and are correct that it's grown with fewer or no chemical pesticides. 53% say they are very or moderately concerned about genetically modified foods. So these are the areas of interest, concern of the average consumer that was polled in this Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada survey. So how does that's just kind of trying to give you a picture, give you a little bit of a little teaser about, you know, what folks are thinking, how this might influence their purchasing decisions in your store. Let's think about what's in the store. Of course, made in Canada, the Canadian maple leaf, you know, product of Canada, that kind of thing. Owners are, you know, owned, Canadian owned company, these kinds of things are getting a lot of interest right now. And yet there's a lot of international trade on organic, and we just thought we would show you this to show you that we're drawing in organic from many different regions, and we export Canadian organic in many different regions. We have specific equivalency arrangements. These are kind of trading arrangements where we can trade a little bit more easily and so forth. So just to give a little bit of a view on, you know, the sales of organic, as I mentioned before, the organic food and beverage is a total, is about 80% of the total organic marketplace. But we can think about all these other elements of organic that are not necessarily food or beverage. So organic alcohol is not counted in that other number. Supplements, fiber, that's like cotton, wool or other things, personal care products, organic pet food, household products, and organic exports. These are just a little bit of a view for the sense of the volumes, both in terms of sales and in terms of percentage. We do have an organic market report should you wish to purchase that. We'll be working on more reports in the future. We usually produce a report every 2 to 3 years. We buy the Nielsen data on behalf of the sector. It is category level data. And we work with Statistics Canada. We get international research involved. We work with all of the certification bodies who are participating in the studies, and they provide their data, and we work across the supply chain and using a variety of sources. So you can be assured that this is the most comprehensive report on organic that's available in Canada. It's available for sale, and members, depending on their dues, may receive that at no charge. So in terms of the work that the Canada Organic Trade Association is doing, we are working on the Organic Action Plan along in coalition or in an alliance, the Canadian Organic Alliance. And we're bringing together a proposal for a collaborative framework to help meet Canada's environmental, economic, and social goals by accelerating the growth in the Canadian organic sector. That probably is, for many people, a very compelling reason to get behind organic. It meets so many needs. It meets environmental goals, it meets climate goals, it meets biodiversity goals, it meets even financial goals that rural communities tend to, who have a very large number of organic players in their regions, tend to be thriving. So yeah, the Organic Action Plan has 4 pillars. They are basically looking at production, that's farming, we're looking at the infrastructure, that's all the piece around regulation, enforcement, data, education, and so forth. There's a whole piece around market development, market access and development. And then there's a whole piece around research, scientific research that supports the claims around organic. And we always need more research, and we always need more action in each of these strong pillars of the Organic Action Plan, just to let you know what's happening behind the scenes, how this impacts you folks, to let you know that there's a lot of work going on to make sure the organic sector in Canada is strong, it's resilient, and it is there to move to the future. So, of course, you've seen this logo plenty. This is owned and operated by the Government of Canada. It is a regulated claim, and everything in behind it is managed under the Safe Food for Canadians Act. And there's lots behind it, and we'd love to get into that. So what are the basic organic principles? So we've kind of given you a little shaping of what things look like, what the scale of things are, how interested folks are. Well, what's deeper here? What's going on with organic principles? And there is international agreements on these things across many countries about what organic means. So organic means health. It means ecology. It means fairness. And it means care. So here we're specifically talking about organic agriculture. And as we know, organic includes the entire value chain, everything from production and agriculture to processing and handling, manufacturing. You're thinking of brands that are on the middle part of the shelves, and then getting into how that moves across the systems. So organic is really managed on a precautionary principle, making sure that health and well-being and the current and future generations are considered. And so these are the core values. And so when we think about organic, we think also about, now we can actually speak about nutrition. There are some phenomenal studies coming out of the Rodale Institute out of Pennsylvania in the US. They've been doing field trials for decades, and now they're doing some nutrient density studies. And there are many other studies as well. But these are the type of results from some of the research that are coming up in the studies. There are higher antioxidants. There are, higher levels of omega-3s. And of course, these are things that we hear a lot about through our health coaching that is out in the media now. So organic meets that criteria as well. In terms of, levels of residues, the use of pesticides. So we will usually say that it avoids the use of synthetic pesticides and synthetic fertilizers. So what do we see then? Pesticide residues in organic produce are 55 times lower in vegetables and 115 times lower in fruits compared to conventional. So we do know that it's always about the intent and the use. Of course, organic also protects the frontline farm worker because they're not facing these acute exposures and serious health effects. So organic is a healthy and safe choice, and that's why we encourage grocers, retailers, really consider what you're putting on offer and consider the organic foods as they are the processed foods now, the ones that are jarred or in a bag or in a box, these kinds of things, or perhaps they're frozen. They follow very strict regulations on allowable materials, and they make it possible to create a value-added product. There's no artificial flavors, there's no artificial colors, and we're hearing a lot about colors in the media right now. There's no artificial preservatives. So not only does organic meet many other targets around climate, environment, biodiversity, and so on and so forth, it also meets a lot of goals that we have for maintaining a healthy population. Many of the consumers out there are concerned about genetic engineering, and as we saw from the AAFC study, so organic prohibits the use of GE. I would also say that there's many terms that are out there in the world, and regenerative is catching on. We always say that organic is the most regenerative. It is the one that has an approach to food and farming that ensures that it's meeting a regulated standard. And this means that there's rigorous environmental health and animal welfare standards that it's meeting. And it's the only environmental claim in Canada that legally requires third-party certification from farm to finished product and is backed by the federal government oversight and enforcement. There are some provincial standards in British Columbia, Quebec, and so forth. So just to say that we are always watchful of making sure organic is well defined and that people understand that it has a federal enforcement. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of organic. So how do we get the message out there? Well, the month of September is Organic Month, and it is a tremendously exciting time to get on board. So we hope that as retailers and grocers, you will get on board for Organic Month this year. We are working with many, many national and regional distributors of organic food, whether that be produce or whether it be packaged goods, and they are providing deals. They're encouraging retailers to get on board. And we have a national campaign as well that includes kind of a learning series that includes a webinar, a film. There's going to be lots of engagement on social media, a contest, and more. So just take note, once again, that this is all housed on Choose Canada Organic. That's the website, that's the hub for organic, and it has Organic Month there. So what are we trying to achieve here? Well, we're trying to get some of these very complex messages across to consumers, and we're trying to convince and encourage and support retailers in particular that the campaign is an extremely useful campaign for your store. What we're hearing from our colleagues is that when you have a substantial amount of organic in the store, not only are you offering a premium product, you're bringing in typically a very educated consumer who's very motivated. And this could lead to having a very loyal customer. So we're trying to bring along the occasional or mid-level consumer into more of a consistent or core consumer. And that means the basket of goods for organic will be greater, and they'll walk out of the shop with more in their basket that is organic. This meets, as I said, so many goals. And of course, everything is fully bilingual in English and French. So what are we trying to achieve? Well, we really want to increase sales of organic products, whether it be fresh fruits and vegetables, whether it be processed or packaged goods. We really want to see, even if it's things that are more like textiles or other elements, body care and so forth, we're looking to increase sales. So we're trying to get the message out about the value behind organic. So we're trying to provide clear and consistent messaging that as a trade association, we have an organic market development task force, and we're working towards giving everyone great tools that they can use around their brand or in their store. Public trust is really where it's at because it's an audited system. It's federally enforced. Let's build the public trust in organic, and that's what we're trying to do. And of course, we engage the media in a variety of ways. We do have a campaign even with the Globe and Mail, Alive magazine, and some others. So you'll notice that in the mainstream media, we'll have some things, and of course, through the social media. When people are coming through, they're telling us they get involved for promoting Organic Month because it makes them feel good. They feel like they're part of something. Not only are they being leaders, but they're also being part of a community or a network, or it makes them feel like they're very much exercising their values, I would say. So we have some very, very simple but very elegant tools for retailers and shopkeepers, grocers, and so forth. We have point of sale materials. So we have, as you can see, these shelf tags, and also you'll notice the danglers. What I would say about this, if you take a close look, there is no mention here of Organic Month on these two elements, the dangler or the shelf tag. That's very much by design, and that is so that grocers, retailers, and so forth can use these beyond the month of September for Organic Month. They could take them down and use them again. They're very resilient pieces of material here. And this is how, we do produce an Organic Month poster, and it includes the sponsors of the program here. So you can put that up anywhere in your store. You can order your retail kit through your distributor. If you don't have a distributor who's participating, then you can order it directly from us as well. And that's something that you could do on our website, or after this presentation, you'll be able to see how to connect with us to get that. In the kit this year, there are 5 danglers and there's 10 shelf tags. There's 1 poster. You can order a custom order of many, many danglers or many shelf tags, and we'd be happy to accommodate that. You're going to see that we have a full digital toolkit. This is amazing. We have over 50 different social media tiles, and I'm going to show you that in the next slide. But we also have all of these pre-existing graphics and illustrations and all things that you can use, not only with kind of the full look of Organic Month, but also just with the logo, if you wish. And it's all free. It's all free for anyone across Canada or across the world. Just download the free digital toolkit, and it's ready-made, grab and go, ready to use. And it's our commitment at the Canada Organic Trade Association to support everyone across Canada in talking about organic. Specifically for the month of September, we'd love to see activations all year long, but it's a chance to celebrate throughout the month of September. It's a harvest month. It's a lot of fun. So I mentioned those social media tiles. There's over 50 thematic images, and they're in 3 different formats, whether it's print ready, whether it's for general posts, whether it's for stories or reels. And every claim that is there is researched and backed. So for example, choose organic dairy, where animal welfare is a priority. That is backed up with a claim. So you can feel very strong and very confident when you post these. We've even had retailers take these elements, as I say, with the print ready, and create posters and hang them in their shops. So please, the digital toolkit is a tremendous resource. There is a content calendar which will illustrate to you when we're posting. You can get with us and our pattern. You can like and post and repost. You can create your own original posts and tag us. There's lots of ways to get involved, and we sure hope you will. Here's just kind of a sampling of things that were happening last year. We had influencers. We had some folks having events. You might know Julie Daniluk, a tremendous anti-inflammatory nutritionist in Canada, #1 book in Canada for health. And she is a great supporter. And just to give her a little shout out. Excuse me. So Organic Month 2024, this is what it looked like. And we want it to be even bigger, every year bigger. So for anything that you need, Sophie Marvel is our Senior Communications Coordinator. You can also reach out to me. I would be very happy to have your email or your call. But you can go right on our website, the Choose Canada Organic, go under Organic Month and just download your digital toolkit. So thank you so much. Here's my contact details. And I'd be so pleased to answer any questions. Thrilled to have you reach out at any time. Thank you so much for joining us today.